Value expressions. Today we're going to talk about absolute value and how they can be solved within an expression. First, let's talk about absolute value. Well, the definition of absolute value is a number that is a certain distance away from zero on a number line. Remember, distance is always positive. No matter what, distance is always positive. So think about it as a number line. And within that number line, you have the distance. You have the distance away from zero that is negative, and the distance away from zero that is positive. So, if I talk about the absolute value of the positive distance here, the distance is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 units away from zero. Now, if I talk about the negative, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is minus 6 units away from zero. But since distance is always positive, this is now the absolute value of 6, which is equal 6 units. So therefore, the absolute value here is 6 units away from zero. Let's talk about some examples. First example. If x is negative 3, evaluate the absolute value of 5x minus 6. Well, the first thing that you do is you have to plug 3 into the equation. So therefore, I have the absolute value of 5x minus 6. So now I have to put the 3 in for x, which makes that a negative 3. Now, rewrite this as 5 parentheses negative 3. Now minus 6 inside the absolute value sign. Now solve your problem. Well, first we use an order of operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. 5 times negative 3 is going to be a negative 15. So negative 15 minus negative 6. So they still have the absolute value. And now, since they both have the same sign, we're going to simply just add the two numbers and then keep the sign. 15 plus 6, well, that equals 21. And because both of the signs here are negative, that makes this negative. However, it is within the absolute value sign. So the absolute value of negative 21 is equal to 21. Because the distance is always positive. So therefore the distance is 21 units away from zero. Now your last and final example is example number 2. Now this time we have 2 variables inside the expression. So therefore, I still do the same thing. This 6 now goes in here because this represents x. So this is 6 minus what's inside the absolute value of y plus 2. So now, exchange that y for negative 3. Now solve. So therefore, do what's inside the absolute value sign first. So therefore, negative 3 plus 2 is going to be a negative 1. Then bring everything else down that you have not touched. So therefore, treat this absolute value sign. You have negative 1 is the absolute value. Well, the absolute value of negative 1 is positive 1. So this is going to be positive 1. This is going to be a negative sign out here. Then you still have the absolute value of positive 6. Remember, absolute value is always positive. So therefore, the 6 does not change. So you have 6 minus 1, which equals 5. And that's your final answer. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. And that's the end of this video.